Hello and welcome to this year's Around the Schools Education Week program. I'm Jackie Case and I go to Dubbo South High School. This year's program will feature some of the activities that happened in Western Region schools during Education Week last year. The program will be presented by students from all parts of the region. We'll start with an Education Week message from our Assistant Director General, Mr. John Sutton.
The theme for Education Week is Literacy, Our Children's Future, and that's appropriate because this is International Literacy Year. In this classroom and all classrooms throughout the region, children spend a great deal of time every day learning to read, to write and to spell.
Hey, don't touch me, I yelled. Oh, sorry, I forgot. I'm Smelly the Sock. They call me Smelly because, okay, I smell.
I've got to read the whole of that story. What about you? What are you doing today? This week, every family with children in Western Region government schools has been given a pamphlet like this one. It gives parents lots of ideas for helping their children improve their reading, writing and spelling at all stages of their education. Children learn best when parents and teachers work together. If you have any concerns about your child, talk them over with your child's teacher.
During the year, many schools have used International Literacy Year as a focus for school and community activities. This theme will also be highlighted in many Education Week displays.
We were always read to at bedtime. My parents were very busy, both of them, but they always took the time when we went to bed to read to us. They always took the time to choose books.
Henry Lawson High School at Grenfell had a special assembly to launch its International Literacy Year activities. Students dressed up as their favourite book character and there were talks from community members, teachers and students about the value of literacy. Prizes were awarded for posters, essays and costumes.
What has been good about today?
I think it's really great because it's made everyone think about how much books mean to them and what their favourite character was and that sort of thing. And a lot of preparation's gone into it. All the kids got together and got their costumes out and that was really great. And just made them think about how much books meant to them as they were growing up.
And what do you think of the idea of having parents along as part of it?
We like to feel we're part of the school. We always have been part of the school here. We've always been participated in lots of things. We see them at home dressing up and reading and doing all those sorts of things, but to come and see them actually performing I think's lovely. As a parent I'm very proud of them.
School pupils in the Bathurst, Lithgow, Orange and Blaney districts had a wonderful experience when they were visited by a number of well-known children's authors who spoke to them about writing. The tour was organised by the Central West Reading Council.
That's where my ideas come from, by listening to people and watching people. When I think of the writers that I felt inspired by, I liked Ivan Southall's books a lot because in his books it was down to the children to solve the problems. And I liked that, I thought that was pretty good. So I was influenced by his writing a great deal.
At Kelso Public School, Year 4 students told us about some of their work based on reading activities.
Well, I read a book called A Taste of Blackberries, and my activity was to make a brooch out of plasticine, and it's up there, and I made it out of purple plasticine for berries and green plasticine for leaves.
And why did you like the book?
Well, it was really funny and everything. It's good.
I read The Crow and Mrs. Gaddy, and my activity for that book was the scarecrows or something.
Why was it a good book?
Oh, it was real funny when the lady, she made a pie and she put soap stuff in it, soap suds, and the crow ate it.
Hello, I'm Macy from Unity Central School. Children's books, story writings and illustrations were featured in a display in the school library at Nevertire during the gathering of the school day, held in Education Week last year. The school's principal, Mr. Nicholson, told us about the day.
The idea was to bring a lot of the children in this area who don't get the opportunity to mix with other schools, to come together, to share their work and to have an enjoyable day. We have Narromine Public, Trengy Central, Warren Central, Nevertire Public, Cobar Public, Brewarrina Central, Nymagee Public and Collo Public. They've arrived today at certain times and are getting involved with the art and craft and enjoying a beautiful barbecue lunch, the whole thing.
Well,
Through the year, through correspondence with me, they've collected work that they've been doing in their rooms, the normal units of work that they do all the time, and they send it to me by a certain date, and the staff here at the school put it all up in the library. I have a wonderful community here at Nevertire. They're the sort of people who, whatever you like to do, if it's for the good of the children, that they come in and they back you 100%. They've organised the eats, they've helped with all the activities setting up, and there's always been someone who said, what can I do to help you?
And what are you helping with today, Sally?
Wherever I'm needed, I'm helping, yes.
Where are you at the moment?
Well, I'm in the canteen serving steak and sausage sandwiches for the children, and we're happy that we've had a nice day today, weather-wise, and we think it's very good that the children have a chance to have a social interaction today, especially from isolated areas, as most of these children are.
Annette, what is it that you're setting up here today?
We've got our pottery here that the children have been doing in class, and the students are going to come around during the day and glaze them, ready to be fired again, so they can take them home. They've also been making mobiles, which you can see hanging up along the veranda, and they're finished and they're going to take those home this afternoon. I teach pottery for the tech and do a lot myself, so I just volunteered to come along and do some with the students. They're all so keen, it's wonderful to teach them, they're really lovely.
Where did the ideas for all the wonderful activities come from?
Just things that I've seen happening in my school and other schools around, so it's just been a collection of ideas.
Hayley, what have you been doing?
I had lunch, so I came over here to have a look around, and then I saw this and I was wondering what that was for. Then I got a piece of paper, folded it as many times as I want, and then I started to get some scissors and cut out some shapes. I've tried to make a butterfly, but it didn't quite work out.
Cindy, what are you making?
A plait.
What out of?
Leather.
What are you going to do with yours?
I'll probably put it on my quiver.
Libby, what's your group doing right now? It looks very interesting.
We're making a sign of a school.
And how are you making the sign?
We're writing a name and we're colouring in the letters of it.
Are you having fun?
Yes.
They're enjoying a lot of art and craft work outside, doing some sporting events, and then in the afternoon we're getting together to have poems, plays, drama, all sort of activities like that. I'd like to see different schools around our area to take on not just the same sort of project, but any sort of projects that I feel would get schools together where the children would get something out of it.
Hi, I'm Sam from Dubbo Public School. The park was a place to go in Wellington during Education Week last year, or it would have been if it hadn't rained. So children of the Wellington Shire came together for a day in the week following Education Week. The idea was to take education to the community. Mr. Norman from Wellington Public School explained about the day.
Schools in the Park originated in 1988 with the bicentennial grant. We could celebrate Education Week by combining all the schools. Rather than having a range of activities in each school, we decided we'd bring all of the schools together so that children could cooperate and work together. So this year we've extended the activities a lot so that there are fewer performances and more activities that children might be interested in enjoying. There's skipping, there's art and craft activities, there's science and maths. So that the idea is to show people in Wellington as many educational things that we do as possible.
Okay, if you put that stick across there to make up the triangle, and then you can put your tetrahedron on top of that, and we'll stand it up and see how tall it is.
The location was fairly easy to choose. It's a very pleasant spot in the park. I think Wellington is justly proud of Cameron Park, and so we decided that this was within the centre of town, and we were in fact taking education to the public.
How did you go about organising such a day?
We began early this year with making initial plans of what we wanted to do and setting a framework of what the day would be like, so that we selected activities that we thought would be appropriate and performances that we thought would had worked well last year, and sort of encourage people to think about it. And we've met on a regular basis to make adjustments to those plans and extend the ideas. And then, of course, the last 6 to 8 weeks, it's been quite a hectic time as we fine-tune everything. And I must say that Lois Lang, the secretary of the committee, has really done a marvellous amount of work in getting this whole day organised.
Luke Deere, a work experience student working with the media unit, interviewed Chris Brooks from Wellington.
Yes. What have you been painting?
Well, we've been painting a turtle and snakes and some Aboriginal art.
What else have you been doing here today?
We've been doing spatter paint and playing mask games over there.
Vince Maxwell, Year 3 teacher from Wellington Public School, said that students had responded really well to the maths activities.
They really liked it, particularly the balancing one. The kids have got into the fruit and veggies and thrown them all together, but it's been really good fun, yeah.
Are you pleased with the level of community support you've had here today?
We're absolutely delighted. We've had huge crowds all day, and I think our whole aim of taking education to the public has been really, really well achieved.
Hi, I'm Georgette from Delray High School. The 12th annual Golden West Fashion Awards were held in Bathurst during Education Week last year. There were over 500 entries from textiles and design students from all over the region. Bathurst High School textiles and design teachers organised the awards. They were very busy in the weeks leading up to the judging.
The organisation has involved things like writing to major sponsors for sponsorship of sewing machines, overlockers, etc. It's also involved contact with the schools, giving them information about the progress, reporting back to the Western Region Home Economics Committee on our plans for the Fashion and Design Awards. Each school is given an entry form. They decide themselves which section they're going to enter their garment into. They have to provide a fabric sample and also a drawing of their garment.
Bathurst High School's Relieving Home Science head teacher, Chris Ryback, told us about the students' preparation.
It varies from school to school, but at this school we emphasise that they need to decide what they want to make early in the year. Even if it's not begun in the first term, they need to have decided what they want and the sorts of fabrics they want to use by the end of term 1. That gives them 2 terms, but in most schools, sports visits and things like that interfere with your time, so you have to give them more than the usual amount of time for a garment, because they know they're going into a competition and they know it has to be spot on, and all of them want to be competitive. So we start early in the year and we push them fairly hard towards the end of the year.
Now, what sort of things would a student be thinking about when they're deciding what they will make?
Lots of them are influenced by fashion, obviously. They're teenagers and they're influenced by peer group pressure. They look at Dolly and lots of fashion magazines and they're heavily influenced by that with what they choose. So we've concentrated on day wear. We've had quite a few tailored garments, particularly overcoats, tailored wide leg trousers, etc., that are fashionable. We have some junior students who work with knitwear, and we try to increase their skills rather than the difficulty of the garment. So we would rather a simple garment well made than a very difficult garment poorly constructed.
Rebecca, tell me what you're doing.
I'm making a dress. It's the bottom half of the skirt is patchwork and the top's just a plain colour, and I'm hemming the bottom of the dress at the moment.
Tell me how you've sewn all those patchworks together.
Oh, great difficulty. I had to design the bottom half of the skirt and use paper and then join them all together, cut them out and join them all together.
And how have you enjoyed doing all this?
Oh, really good. It's a good experience when you compete in the fashion parade.
Kerry, tell me about your dress.
Well, I liked the way it was styled and that, and I decided to put lizards on it. So, because I like Aboriginal designs, and I put bugle beads on it, on the lizard, to make it look more effective. I made the jewellery out of dew kit, and I used 2 colours, orange and black, and just mixed them together. And then I painted them with white and black dots.
How have you found going in this competition?
Really good. A bit nervous, but really good, yeah.
Ben, what are you making?
It's a denim jacket. It's made from a ordinary pattern you buy in the shops.
And what are you up to now?
I've got a top stitch across the top of the shoulders and it's finished.
Is it? What about the cuff?
Oh, I've just got to put a roll that back and top stitch that as well, and it's done.
And how have you enjoyed making this?
Oh, it's been pretty good. A bit hectic, but at the end.
Judges examined the garments for seam construction, hems, trims, sleeve settings and the overall finish. Former home economics teacher Barbara Travis thought this skirt was particularly well made.
This one was really professionally finished for a Year 11 student. It has really well made jetted pockets set in, and the zipper front opening has been really neatly done, and the darting on the back, and it's been well presented garment.
And why was this an outstanding garment?
The style of the garment that the girl has chosen, she has chosen appropriate seam finishes, and she has executed them in a really professional way. The colouring, it's very striking, and the method in which she's done the quilting and her trim, it just gives an overall stylish appearance.
Students modelled their garments for a panel of judges at the Bathurst Civic Centre. What's to be gained from entering the Fashion Awards?
I think that students get a broader scope of what's achievable. Lots of students are very limited in their imagination, and after viewing one Fashion and Design Award, they realise that kids their own age are making much more different garments to what their imagination would imagine. So I suppose it enthuses the kids, so that next year they think, I'm going to try harder and I'm going to do more like what I saw at Fashion and Design Awards, because some of them realise that they aren't competitive, or that their garments really aren't them. So I suppose to me it enthuses kids and gets them right into the textile scene.
At a gala parade in the evening, the winners of the various categories were presented with pennants or trophies created by Bathurst High's Industrial Arts Department.
The school's exhibition was planned as a significant educational event to show the people of Broken Hill what was being achieved in the creative arts fields. This is part of an overall program of excellence for talented students, which encompasses many subject areas and most schools in Broken Hill. Let's see a few items from the performance.
basically it's a combined show that attempts to show the community some of the excellent areas in the school curriculum.
And how did it get off the ground? Whose idea was it?
I think it was an initiative from both principals at Winyama High School and Broken Hill High School, and then it was sort of developed from there.
And how were you involved?
Well, this year I've been coordinating the whole thing and directing and producing it. Basically the aim is to show the community in Broken Hill what is happening in the schools in terms of the standard of excellence, and what we tried to do was to show on stage all those areas that were appropriate, and for the areas that couldn't be shown in a concert format we did static displays in some of the stores around town.
What do you hope the students got out of it?
Well, the thing that I would hope for most is that the students got a sense of working together and a sense of achieving excellence in the particular thing that they were doing.
Right. Was there any community assistance?
We had a lot of help from people around town donating various things and donating their services, so the community was really behind us all the way.
We're going to be talking about the Talented Children's program that you have going on in the town. What is it?
It's essentially a program where we've believed was necessary to provide opportunity for youngsters across the entire education spectrum from kindergarten to year 12 to extend their varying talents and skills.
How do you think the community feels about the schools receiving the Centre of Excellence Award?
I know they're singly very, very proud of the achievements of their children and grandchildren. And I believe the community is very, very quietly proud of the fact that the education community has been acknowledged as a centre of excellence, and certainly they're very supportive. And I believe that if the department provides the necessary support for this program, then the community will continue to support to the extent that it does.
Hello, I'm Danielle from Menindee Central School. Our school has great new buildings, which were officially opened in August 1990. We're all very proud of our new school. We'd like to show you some of its special features and how the children are using the classrooms. Mr. John Kane is our principal.
I've been in the school now for all of term 2. The new school has some lovely facilities. The primary home bases, as they're called, are excellent facilities compared with what we've been used to. The secondary department has specialist areas for science, home science and industrial arts. We have a multi-purpose hall that's used for school assemblies. Community groups are also using it after school. We have a new canteen as part of that building, shower blocks, and a lovely administration building that we're in at the moment. So all in all, we're very pleased with the new facilities.
You should be able to almost see through the cucumber. Now if you can do it that finely, you'll end up with a really nice soup. Okay, I'll put that to one side. Fried rice, people, your bacon, make sure you cut the rind off the bacon.
How do you find using it all?
Wonderful, wonderful. It's a lot better than what we were used to a few years ago, or when I first arrived. We had really old kitchens, so this is wonderful. And the kids really love working in them. They're nice. It's a lot bigger than what they're used to and use, and they really respect it. They treat it with a lot of respect, as you can see, so it's beautiful.
You then get your thermometer, measure the temperature and write down the temperature you've recorded. Then we're going to compare the two results, see whether the 1 cent coin has a higher temperature than a 2 cent coin, and if it does, why. We have a whole school staffing program going where they use my expertise in the science department to go down to the primary. So they fit in. I have 4 periods a week of primary out of my 28, and they come up here for 2 periods a week, and we do our science experiments up here, you know.
And how are you finding the new science laboratory?
It's great. It's compared to what we've had, it's just brilliant.
Take it right along, and then you can move the tool rest in a bit closer.
How are you finding your industrial arts room?
Fantastic. For such a small school, I think it's the best set-up room that I've ever seen.
What's so good about it?
The range of equipment that we have a full range of equipment that just basically covers everything that we could want here. And it's just totally comprehensive.
What do you think about the whole school?
I think that in terms of the way it's been designed and planned, it really blends in well with the local environment. The shape of the buildings and the colours with the red bricks really blends in well with the local red soils. I think whoever's designed these buildings has done a really good job.
Year 1 and 2, who likes the new school? Everybody. Well, how about you tell me some of the things you especially like?
I like the library.
Good.
I like everything. Like the old school. I like the playground. It's where I can play.
Besides this Education Week program, we hope you'll watch Around the Schools each month on Prime Television. This year there is a new format featuring student presenters.
The longer 28-minute program helps keep stories up to date. Programs contain magazine-style items and short segments of education news. There's sports news and interviews with some outstanding achievers.
Especially before exams, and I used to.
If you want to know what's happening in education, watch Around the Schools. It's telecast on the 3rd Monday of each month and repeated the following Thursday.
Education is the vital aspect of your child's future. I invite all parents and community members to visit our government schools during Education Week. Come and see the great things that are happening in them.